Hey, it's almost St. Patty's Day, and well, if you don't know, I'm Irish. My family came from the County Cork back in the 1800s, and we've been doing Irish traditions ever since. I'm also married to a girl of Irish descent, and St. Patty's is always a big thing for us. So every year we do a corned beef and cabbage. This year I'm actually going to do two because I want to try the Sous Vide method with this wonderful piece of corned beef. Nice big fat pad, nice marbling. In the past I've always done, baked it for 3-4 hours at 350 and then broiled it. So I'm really excited to try a sous vide method. I have accidentally dried it out before. Not terribly, but a little bit, and that could be a combination of overcooking and also a combination of not letting it rest long enough and cutting it before it's had time to rest after baking. Okay, so we're gonna start with a little bit of brown sugar. I've already patted it dry with a paper towel. We'll take and spread a little brown sugar over the fat cap. Not a lot, but I love the flavor of the brown sugar with the fat, and doing this sous vide, it should render this fat into the meat really nicely. So now that we have that, got the seed pack that comes with the corned beef. We're gonna spread that all over. Get that kind of pushed into the fat cap. This is really the only side you need to season. You don't need to season the entire thing. So we're gonna get it all prepped like that. We're gonna take our sous vide vacuum bags that we can reseal and vacuum. We're gonna put this meat right in there. So we've got it pressed all the way in. Now we're gonna add a little bit of Guinness to it. Okay, so after having to clean the seal up again because I got some of the seeds in the seal, it made it hard to get it vacuum packed, but it did vacuum pack. So we've got this 4 1/4 pound corned beef, soaking in Guinness, got a little brown sugar, and the season pack that comes with the corned beef going in the sous vide. 48 hours. So we'll pull this baby out on Sunday. So last year, all the St. Patty's Day parades got canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic, and it's carrying on into this year. So, we're just doing what we can at home to keep the spirit alive. Some interesting facts about St. Patrick's Day is, let's talk about St. Patrick himself first. He's actually not Irish. He was Scottish born, and then at the age of 16 was kidnapped by Irish raiders and taken back and enslaved for 6 years to work on a farm in Ireland, where he had a dream that God spoke to him and told him to go to the coast and a boat would be waiting. So he traveled 200 miles to the coast. Sure enough, there was a boat. He went back to England, became a priest, and later went back to Ireland and introduced Christianity to the people of Ireland, and that's how he became the patron saint of Ireland. Another interesting fact is corned beef is not really an Irish dish. It used to be pork and potatoes, but corned beef was, I guess, a more affordable meat, so the American immigrants from Ireland started using corned beef, and eventually that became a tradition, and that's why we're doing our corned beef. So here it is, finally, Sunday morning. The anticipation for this corned beef is starting to kill me. So I'm making some breakfast, try to keep my mind off of it a little bit. Anyway, my friend and co-YouTuber, her name is Lisa D. Her channel is Lisa D's Delights. She makes some spectacular dishes filled with flavor and decadence. She's doing an Instant Pot corned beef, so we've got a little bit of a challenge going on. So I'm gonna put her channel page address in the description of this video. Also, you can get it from my channels on my channel. So if you go to hers, check it out, like it, and subscribe. And then please put in my comments or her comments which corned beef you like the best, the Instant Pot or the Sous Vide. So we're getting really close. We've only got about another hour left in the sous vide, and then we're gonna have it broil after I put my secret ingredient on my corned beef. In the meantime, I went ahead and prepared my Yukon Gold and some cabbage wedges. And what I'll do is take a little bit of the bacon grease from this morning's breakfast and kind of just dab it on the potatoes and a little bit on the cabbage. What I've done is I've cut the Yukon Gold potatoes in half, and like I said, wedged up the cabbage. So we've got our bacon grease. We're gonna add a little bit of Guinness, the Guinness trap. You hear that? It's got a little nitrogen cartridge that gives it a nice little draft flavor. Oh yeah. So now we'll drizzle that over top of everything. And this will actually make for a really nice bed to finish the broil on our corned beef. So got my aluminum foil. Gonna cover that. Got the oven preheated to 350 degrees. Almost. But we'll put it in there for about an hour, and then we'll be ready to switch to broil mode. Okay, so our vegetables are Yukon Gold potatoes and our cabbage wedges now have been in the oven for about an hour, covered in foil with the beer and the bacon grease. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little brown sugar and we're gonna spread that over the cabbage. A little bit on the potatoes, but mostly the cabbage. Cabbage is looking good. And that will caramelize as we go through the next phase of our cooking process. Okay, so we've taken and mixed up a good bit of brown sugar and grape jelly, and we're gonna put that, and we're gonna create a nice crust all over the top of this corned beef. Take and drizzle a little bit on some of the cabbage. That cabbage will soak that jelly and brown sugar up, and it is going to be delicious. Okay, then my actual secret is I take and just kind of cover the entire thing with a brown sugar glaze so that as it bakes or broils, it just caramelizes everything. Potatoes, cabbage, the whole thing. Oh, it's gonna be good. So after 48 hours in the sous vide, a good 30 minutes broiling, we got a nice little crust there, but I mean, it is just completely falling apart. The fat has rendered into the meat so beautifully. It's nice and stringy. So it's really not much cutting it up. We're just gonna pull it apart with a fork, put our cabbage and potatoes onto a plate, maybe add a little bit of mustard, and yeah. Oh, it's gonna be good. Happy St. Patty's. This one end cap you can kind of slice up, and when you slice it, and look at that. Get your nice piece of fat, crust. Oh, the combination of the fat that's rendered down and the brown sugar. That's crazy. Oh, it's so good. Lisa D, let's see what you can do. Let's compare these. Okay, so Sous Vide method, it melts like butter in your mouth. It tastes very good. The flavor is great. I can definitely kind of taste the brown sugar. The one thing that I will say though is the texture is different from what I'm used to with my normal baking method. I think for some folks this would take some getting used to. But we've got our corned beef, our cabbage, and our potatoes. We have our Guinness draft, which is the perfect complement for this dinner. And I would like to say to you and your family, wishes for health and happiness, and may the good Lord turn the ankles of your enemies so you can see the bastards coming. Cheers. So I think the real consensus after dinner is that we still prefer the baking method. We like the texture of it. The flavor was good, but you know, we still are. I know my whole thing is things old guys do, but I still have all my natural teeth, and so does my family. So maybe until we lose our teeth, we'll stick with the baking. So cheers. Happy St. Patty's. Tasted good. Just can't get over the texture.